Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Jarvis S. Scott with What's Happening Birmingham. Back again, Thursday live stream. And guess who I got? Well, my favorite city council president. That's what I'm going to say now. I ain't going to say council person. President Wardine Alexander. Council President Alexander, how you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing well. And so glad to talk to you again.
Yes. She has agreed to go live with me to interact, and we talk along the way about all the great things that's happening, number one, with the Birmingham City Council, and also we can't forget D7. Got a lot of great things going on. First, to start off, Council President, how it feels to be Council President again?
Well, I am very grateful to my colleagues who have entrusted me this second time, a new council, to lead them and guide them in this leadership role. So first, I want to thank my fellow councilors for giving me this opportunity. I'm very excited to work with them in this role and to represent Birmingham on the city council.
Yes. So, I guess to start off, so what goals do you have, just council president, this time you would like to achieve?
Well, yes. I don't know if many people know that we do go through, once you get elected, you become a member of the council, you almost have to run another election among your the 9 councilors to choose those leadership roles of president and pro tem. And so with this particular council, it was very important to me that we focus on cohesive messaging among the 9 councilors. And we're really looking for, although each of us have our own individual districts, we have our own individual goals in our district, we want to work very closely with our public information office to cohesively brand this particular city council, the 2025 through 2029 council. And you're going to be seeing more projects and information that are more council related that will benefit the entire city.
Oh yes, and the first thing I would like to give you all major props on, the Birmingham City Council was one of the first city councils in the municipal area to live stream their council meetings.
Oh, and we're excited about that. I'm really grateful for PIO and for the leadership at that time. I know we went through COVID, we went through different things. And so this gives an opportunity to reach out to more residents. I know everyone can't be down at City Hall in person at 9:30, but we're trying to find every available means that we can to bring those meetings to the public and to show how government works.
Yes. I just want to say that in this era, you hear other cities like kind of now that the pandemic is, ended a couple of years now, they're kind of cutting back, but you all are, staying open because you want to be open and transparent to the citizens.
Yes, you'll actually see various other platforms that we'll be using. We'll be using podcasting. We actually have a whole brand new backdrop and communication room that we're using now when we're interviewed. And so we realize how technology, live streaming, Facebook, all those social media platforms, they can help to keep our residents informed.
Oh, yes. So let's get into like D7. So, now that the temperature appears today to be warm, but, Alabama weather is always like a coin flip. What's going to always, temperature going to be like when you step out. One of the great initiatives I always love, coming out and covering is your Love D7 Day.
Yes. I'm so excited. We've already began the planning process. Love D7 Day for 2026 will be held on April 11th. That'll be from 9 to 1 p.m. We're still looking at a location, but we're changing the focus a little bit. Instead of making it a district-wide event, we're focusing on 5 or 6 neighborhoods and working along with those neighborhood presidents where we can get boots on the ground in those particular neighborhoods to do some cleanups, bring in volunteers, just help to revitalize those particular neighborhoods. Those are ones that need some help and need some assistance. And so we're going to pull all of our efforts in there. We are looking at getting the tools and necessary materials through Tool Bank America and just looking at different other private resources that we can use, those collaborative efforts to help our residents to make D7 a great place to live, work, and play. So again, this particular day, we will be focusing on primarily those 5 neighborhoods that we will be selecting, and we'll be announcing those neighborhoods. But we're also going to have another component where we're going to bring resources, different vendors, different people with information about healthcare, insurance, financial literacy. I'll even bring some pets in from our Red Mountain Park. And so we just want to talk about the resources that we have in District 7. So we'll be reaching out to more residents, to businesses, and those neighborhood association presidents. Now, that will not prevent you, if you want to have your own collective neighborhood cleanup on that day, we'll again be able to provide you with the tools and the resources. But our big focus will be those 5 primary neighborhoods, which we'll be announcing very soon.
Well, that leads me into like one of the things you always focus on, the 3 C's. So what's the 3 C's for 2026 for you?
Here we go. We're going to keep with the same 3 C's, and that's community cleanliness, what we've already talked about, community revitalization, as well as community health and wellness. I try to ensure that any projects that I help to support through discretionary funding, that they follow within these guidelines of those 3 C's. I think as we focus on each of these 3 C's, again, that helps to solve some of the issues that we have in D7. We can't solve them all, but these help to target some of those issues under this umbrella of those 3 C's.
Yeah, so I'm glad I brought you on today because, you know, like you said, as you being the president of Birmingham City Council, you all deal with a lot of pressing issues that affects not only the Birmingham area, but Jefferson County area as well. One of the biggest topics that has came lately has been on this topic of data centers. That you see, you know, nearby Bessemer just approved for a data center to be built in that area. And that was a very contentious discussion. The community, you know, you had people that was for it, you had people against it. It was only a matter of time before it came within the city limits of Birmingham. Correct. So I want to give you a couple of moments to kind of, if the viewers, nobody know anything about this, can you kind of bring us up to speed where the Birmingham City Council stands?
Well, first let's start about what is a data center. There are actually 3 types of businesses that can be termed as a data center. One of those, and typically a data center is a facility used to house computer systems and associated components such as telecommunications and storage systems, okay? And so when we talk about data centers, I want residents to know there are actually 3 types of data centers that could be placed into a municipality. And one is on-site data centers. I think those are the ones we're most familiar with. That's where some of your companies house their HR, their finance, their electronic systems in one house location. We also have co-location facilities, and this is kind of like DC blocks that we see already over in District 6. And then there's the hyperscale data center that we know that are going up within communities around us. So what you'll see that our city council and our office of city attorney, we are being very strategic on how we want to ensure the safety of our residents when those type of organizations or businesses want to come into the city, as well as looking at storage, consumption, water, energy, all those type things. So what we are planning, we will be listening to residents on March 3rd at 9:30 a.m. We'll be hosting a public hearing because at this time we'll be considering to enact a moratorium on those type businesses coming into the city of Birmingham. So I encourage any resident that wants to hear more about that. This is the time, this is the opportunity to talk to the council, give us your views, and learn consistently what we're trying to do, again, to help to protect our residents and to protect our environment. There are a lot of concerns about accountability and transparency when it comes to data centers. I know people want to maintain their privacy as well as protect the environment. So we'll be looking at all of those considerations when we take the opportunity on March 3rd to have that public hearing, so that then we will consider whether or not to enact a moratorium on those type businesses.
And I don't know whether you don't have to answer this. has there been any companies that have approached the city of Birmingham about building a data center yet?
Well, that is one of the reasons that we wanted to look at this moratorium and move from this point forward. And so it's want to be just transparent with residents in that this is why we want to put this moratorium out here, because we want to be sure we have all the rules and regulations in place so that we can have some assurances that if one of those type facilities or organizations was to come into the city, that we would have some regulations around them.
Well, I think this is me personally speaking. I think that's a very good, cautious step to take instead of just immediately, because I've seen what happened in the nearby city of, just not trying to single out Bessemer, how it just, for whatever reason, the rollout, the outrage that the community, some people in the community felt against it coming out, and they felt like they was, they kept some things from them in the dark, and after they got passed, it keeps on changing where the location is proposed to take place and where it's not supposed to take place. That, it's confusion,
I can understand that. And, often hindsight is 2020. Now, we do have other locations. I know the one that you spoke of, very close to our Birmingham itself, but we have these type facilities that are going up all across the United States. Of course, we are concerned about what's going on in our city, and I'm concerned about what would be happening in District 7 along those lines. So we have some examples of moratoriums that already exist in the states of Virginia, Vermont, Illinois, Georgia even passed a moratorium, have a couple of municipalities in Georgia, as well as Bristol, Tennessee. So we're looking at the draft that we have before us. And so we have a draft right now. And again, that resident input during that public hearing on March 3rd will allow us to create a final document that considers, we're listening to residents, want to consider what their cautions are and things that they would like us to be sure that we put into any laws or ordinances that we would enact regarding whether or not we would allow this type business.
Now, I will say this also on the plus side, people will say, well, if you have a data center coming, that means that the jobs, impact, like you may get more jobs if they're being built in the area.
Yes, I think it is important for people to really, and this is some of the things that we want to be sure residents realize, there's information and data. There are some pluses that could come along with this. One of those is workforce development.
Yeah.
And but again, I think what's most in everyone's mind is ensuring that there isn't any negative impact on our environment, raising utility rates, those type things. So it's sort of, you've got to have the right things in place to ensure that one doesn't overtake the other.
Okay, now I know at the time of this, live stream that we're in the first, the Alabama State Legislature is in session.
Yes.
What priorities do you all, the city council, I know you can speak on the council side,
yes,
that you would like to see the legislation for?
I'm glad you asked that. Actually, when you say on the council side, the mayor and the council, we work together.
Okay.
And we have a legislative priority list that we give to the legislature to things that we think impact the city of Birmingham. The 2026 legislative priority list included 4 bills that we would like to see, or 4 areas that we'd like to see bills enacted. And primarily all of those relate to community revitalization, ways that we can eliminate blight. We want to strengthen some of the measures and work that's done with the land bank. We'd also like to create a listing of properties that have been abandoned, and we want to go after those particular property owners who are not doing their service for the community by having a property that's abandoned or is blighted. And so we've looked for sponsors for those bills. Now, what is unique about this particular legislative session is that it will be shortened, and most of the attention is on that all of those members of the House and the Senate are up for re-election. And so we know that they will be focusing on low-hanging fruit that they know that they can get passed. But we've had boots on the ground there in Montgomery seeking sponsors for those bills. And we're very excited because if either one of those legislative priorities that we have put out there in front of the legislators, either one of those pass, it would help us again by going against property owners who are contributing to the blight, also helping to strengthen our land bank authority so that they can put those properties back out for sale. And so I'm excited that we worked with the mayor again this year, and those 4 legislative priorities will help us with community revitalization.
Yeah, I especially think with that because, like you said, like people who've had abandoned properties for years, and you can you can add fines and and do code enforcement, but if you can't do that final step as far as like taking the property,
and that's right, and making it for sale, then
Yeah.
you're just continuing to keep cutting a lot that's going to keep growing up, or you've got that piece of property that's, even though it's owned by a citizen or someone, and a lot of our properties, I want people to know, within the city of Birmingham, they're owned by LLCs that don't even exist in the state of Alabama. And so we have a lot of properties that are being managed by businesses, and they are leaving them blighted, and they're becoming a eyesore for some of our neighborhoods.
Yes, I totally agree with that. There's a lot of them just buying. It's not individuals just buying these, houses. It's like I say, companies buying it.
Yes, and I really want to thank Senator Linda Foster Coleman. She's been Coleman Foster. I always say her name backwards, but I do want to thank her. She has been very instrumental in helping us to pass legislation that deals with our land bank, and so we're hopeful that some of the other legislation that we're trying to get through this session will help to strengthen legislation that she's already sponsored and passed for us.
Yeah, because I think it's something that's like you all recently, you can correct me, some in Pratt City, right? That you all had proposed something as far as building more homes, or
well, these are homes that were already being built. I know Pro Tem Tate, she has a couple of developments that are going on within her district, and so we'd like to see many more of those, clearing land and clearing these properties so that we can do additional building within the city.
Yeah, that's a new, and you showed me an area too that's even in your district is more.
That's right. So we're really excited. That has not come to final fruition yet, but we're very excited to see the interest in any of our districts. But I'm very happy to see that interest in District 7.
All right, well, I guess kind of wrapping up, anything you want to, I guess, as far as your wish list for your district and
of course, I have a lot of legacy neighborhoods, or what I call, these neighborhoods have been in existence for years, since I was born or before, and some of those neighborhoods really need help and assistance, and I don't want any of those residents to feel that they've been left alone. So I'm really working within the community revitalization side, our community development team, to see what we can do to attract investors and attract more housing being built in those areas. Revitalization means also getting those roads paved, getting sidewalks worked on. So I'm working with the mayor as they create that list for the 2027 paving. We know that can mean a lot to the revitalization of our neighborhoods. So community revitalization is a key focus of mine this year in these first 2 quarters of the year. And I've already been working with Mayor Whitman. I hope you've been seeing some results and residents have seen in those areas. We've been trying to be sure that our right-of-ways are being cut, and some of those nuisance properties, before they get too high during the summer, they're beginning to treat those properties and to mow those properties and treat them so that they won't be such a nuisance. And I'm grateful to the residents that have reached out to me and have acknowledged that they've seen that work done. We've got a lot more to do, but I really want residents to know that we're working a path that will help us with some of those issues.
So as always, if they want to reach your office, what's the best phone number? The
best phone number is 205-254-2498. Again, that's 205-254-2498. And I'd also like to ask residents, please use the My BHAM 311 app. That helps to get your issue right in front of the department that would be working on that. They have a triage system to call about a tree being down, potholes, then that can go directly to that department. And then you call my office with that information, and that helps us to track and monitor it for you and give you an opportunity to see where they are with triaging that issue and getting that into the right department.
Well, Council President Alexander, as always, thank you for coming on today. Thank you for your leadership. Stepping up, continuing. Like I said, even though you was nominated, you didn't have to do it again. But you're doing it. Not only for the citizens. So that's.
Well, I appreciate that. I really just I've always wanted to be a servant leader and be an advocate for our residents and for the residents in D7. So please reach out to me and my team, and we will see. We can't solve every problem, but we don't just talk about the issues, we seek the solutions.
Yes. So thank you all for watching. Please check out what's happening Birmingham.com for more interviews. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check me out on TikTok, What's Happening in BHAM, and the audio version of this on Apple Podcasts. Thank you all again. And Love D7 Day is coming soon.
April 11th. We'll see you 9 to 1. Thank you.
Yes. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.